Hello, my name is Justin Adams, and welcome to Jersders, or should I say, my 25 days of Christmas movie review. I'm excited because today is a very good day for movies. Today I'm going to be reviewing 3 movies which were really personal, really close to me as a kid. The Santa Claus Trilogy. That's right, mofos. I'm gonna be doing the Santa Claus Trilogy. This voice has nothing to do with that movie, but I feel like doing it to scare the shit out of people. Everyone remembers the Tim Allen 1994 Christmas classic, The Santa Claus. It has everything you want in a Christmas movie. It has laughs, it has heart, and it's a really, really fun ride. What I love about this movie is that the story is believable. It comes off more real than any other Christmas movie that is involving Santa. Now, sure, the sequels pretty much hammered it with a big shiny nail, but with the original, you can see the magic that they tried to create. The movie is about Tim Allen's character, Scott Calvin, a divorced advertising executive who has a kid named Charlie. Isn't really there, but tries to be there at times. When we first meet Scott, he is on his way to meet his son Charlie and his ex-wife Laura at his house because Charlie is spending time with him for Christmas and Christmas Eve. Scott is late like every other dad in 90s movies or any father and son movie, and this makes Charlie not want to spend Christmas with Scott at all. And instead he wants to spend Christmas with his mom and her new boyfriend, played by Judge Reinhold. But what starts out to be a mess of a night turns out to be something fantastic. They hear a bump on the roof, and Charlie automatically thinks it's Santa Claus, as Scott is thinking that it's some fucking asshole on the roof, as anyone else would. Scott goes outside to check it out, and it is, in fact, Santa Claus. Now, this is where the movie takes some turn. You see, Scott yelps at Santa, and it makes Santa get scared, and he slips, and he falls off the roof, and dies. That's right. This movie did that. It does not fuck around. They put Santa, a guy who goes around delivering toys to kids and eats cookies, into a situation like getting scared shitless, slipping, falling, and cracking your neck. That's some good shit right there, movie. I'll give you some brownie points for that one. Scott thinks this is just some asshole still, so he reaches into his pockets and he finds a card that says, "Anything happens to me, put on the coat, the reindeer will know what to do." They look onto the roof, and there lies Santa's reindeer. With the help of Charlie whining and Comet growling, Scott puts on the suit and grabs Santa's sack. Again, not trying to sound dirty there. Shit. It makes him float into the air, which brings us to the first Tim Allen joke that went right over my head as a child. And Charlie's like, "Dad, you're floating!" And Scott says, "It's okay, I lived through the 60s. Oh, Tim Allen, putting in your drug humor in children's movies. I see you, dude. You like to party, dude. Party with you, dude. You can come up. You can totally tell this is the party zone. I got Home Alone. We can totally Home Alone it out, dude." Is that a sneak peek for what I'm going to be reviewing next? Whoa. So now Scott has to take over delivering the rest of Santa's gift. It has some rather bizarre but great comedic stuff to it. I love Tim Allen. Now, I'm not saying he's a great actor, but I think compared to everything else that he's done in his career, this has displayed what he's mostly all about. He's a guy who's not only funny, but has a lot of heart, and you can see that with his TV show Home Improvement, but you can especially see that after the reindeer takes Scott and Charlie to the North Pole, there lies one of my favorite scenes ever in a Christmas movie, ever in the history of the world. Watching it now, it's a bit weird, but it's still a great cheesy moment. It's the scene where Scott and Charlie get sent down into the North Pole, and all the elves stop what they're doing to look up and smile at them as this nice song is playing, and it was so cool because that's what I thought, that this was going to be me one day. I thought I was going to be greeted by little people and I was going to be going to the North Pole just like this. And don't ask why I had those weird thoughts, but know that I was very happy with them. I don't need therapy or anything. Watching the scene now with my girlfriend, she had to bring up that of how weird it is that all the elves are actually kind of cool and okay with the fact that this guy basically murdered the other Santa and is now taking his place. Thanks for killing my 5-year-old self, Rain. Then they meet Bernard, played by David Krumholtz. Explains to Scott that once you put on the Santa suit, that you are officially Santa, no exception. Say no, that very much means that it could be the end of Christmas. Now Scott has 11 months to get his affairs in order and due back to the North Pole Thanksgiving. Cut to the next morning, Scott is not aware if any of this actually happened, but he wakes up in the same pajamas that the elves gave him the night before, so he's kinda thinking this shit might have actually happened. But he's hardcore denying it, as Charlie is hardcore loving it. He's telling the whole world, his mom, his teachers, his mom's boyfriend who's a therapist and thinks that he should know that Santa isn't real. Everyone knows about Scott and Charlie's story about going to the North. And what at first seems like a fun little story that him and his dad made up, then turns into a real problem in Laura and Neil's eyes because they believe that Scott is using this story to enable Charlie into wanting to be with him more. The second act is easily what makes this movie for me, and it's a reason for why this movie still holds up. It becomes a homage to one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, Miracle on 34th Street. It's the story of whether or not this guy is turning into Santa or if he's just trying to win a custody battle in shady ways. I haven't even talked about the makeup yet. Tim Allen, whenever he puts on the Santa makeup, he transforms as Santa. That's the one thing I love about all three of these movies, that he always looks good in the makeup as Santa Claus. This movie, guys, if you couldn't tell, I love it. It's such a good movie. It's a fun movie for kids, it's entertaining for them, but it's very funny for adults because every single thing that comes out of Tim Allen's mouth is pretty much a joke that goes right over kids' heads, but goes right into the parents' ears, and they're like, huh. That was funny, Tim Allen. Now, of course, there are problems with this movie, but mostly they're just in the third act. Once the movie kicks off with Scott actually being Santa, the movie kind of drags a little bit. There's Scott taking Charlie, the police looking for them, and elves trying to break him out of jail. It's just stuff that we really didn't need after they took us on this rather emotional journey. But, other than that, this movie is still great. I loved it as a kid, and I still love it now as an adult. I guess I am. I don't know, I'm only 19, that doesn't matter. Alright guys, overall, I think this movie is phenomenal. And the best one out of the three. But I can understand how some kids can find this movie a bit boring more than the other two, as this is more focusing on on Scott and Charlie's relationship, more than the other sequels are more like, Christmas! Alright, that's all I got. What do you guys think about the Santa Claus? Do you agree with me and think that it's great, or do you hate it because it's a movie about a man murdering another man in order to win the affection of his son? If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at I'mJustin_420. And guys, please stay tuned for the movie sequels. I'm going to be reviewing 2 and 3 literally right after this, so please stay tuned, and also stay tuned for my other Christmas reviews that I'm going to be unleashing at you guys. Alright guys, please like, subscribe, all that great stuff, comment below. Yes.